This is the real story of how I went from a broke high school student to now making over 5 figures per month and living off trading at 20 years old. When I was younger, I was a random kid from Canada playing hockey, video games, hanging out with friends, and going to a public school. I was really good at school, really good at sports. I always put my heart into it and it paid off. The sport I played the most was hockey. I did play in my high school team, but I did end up having 5 concussions and my parents wanted me to stop, and then I stopped playing. At this point, I was maybe around 15 years old, and this is right when the pandemic hit, the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And to be honest, this was one of the best periods of my life. It's kind of a hit or miss. Like, some people love this period and some people hate it. Personally, I loved it. I was basically at home 24/7. I didn't move from home and I was just playing video games all day with my friends. So I was playing GTA, NBA 2K20, Rainbow Six Siege, and Fortnite. This was an insane period in my life. I really enjoyed it. But there was also one really big thing that happened during that period, and if you were online at that time, you already know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about TikTok. I was watching countless hours of TikToks per day. At first, it was just like dancing and these TikTok celebrities, right? But as time went, there was a change in the algorithm, there was a change in the trends, and just people starting to post more lifestyle videos. And remember, I was just a random broke kid at that point, but when I started seeing supercars, people like having Lamborghinis, Ferraris, all of these, throwing money in the air, everything, something clicked inside of me. I wanted to do the exact same thing. I wanted to live that life. And I knew that if I didn't do anything, I wouldn't be able to live it because it costs a lot of money. So I started looking up what these people were doing, how they could afford a Lamborghini at 20 years old, for example. And a lot of them were dropshippers. So I started spending tens of hours, hundreds of hours learning how to do dropshipping, learning how to build a store, connect with suppliers, and eventually it started working out. This was kind of the end of the pandemic. At our school, we had online classes every other day, so I was just grinding nonstop like on my dropshipping business, right? Because I started to have some sales. And my first sale actually came from a promotion that I did on Instagram. So I was happy. I was like, all right, if I can do one sale, this is the hardest one. Everybody was saying, if you can make your first sale, you can make your second, third, fourth, however you want. So I had to prove that it could work. I made one sale. I doubled down on it. I spent all of my days, all of my nights just perfectioning everything. And eventually it's just things started to sell. I ran a bit of ads on social media, nothing too crazy, but it eventually started flowing out. And I mean, I was selling plants, like fake plants, plastic plants, and I was paying them, I think 89 and 90 cents each. I was selling them from $10 and $12.99 each. So $9.99 and $12.99 each. I was making like over 10 times more than what I paid for them each sale. At first I was making like 20 bucks a day, then 70, 100, $400 a day, and eventually it just kept going up. And after 6 months, I had made over $120,000 in sales. I say in sales because people say like they make $100,000 and just that's what they make. No, that's not true at all. So out of that $120,000, I personally touched around $40,000, and it was the first real money that I touched in my entire life. I was working a part-time job, but it was nothing compared to making 40,000 US dollars at like 16 years old in 6 months. I stopped dropshipping because, I mean, this store just died out and there was nothing I could do that just could revive it. I was not a professional, right? Like, there's some people that specialize in this sort of stuff. This wasn't me. I just rode the wave and it died out, and I just stopped making money dropshipping. But that's around when I discovered trading. I also discovered it on TikTok. So I was like, all right, well, I stopped dropshipping, let's learn trading. And I started learning by myself, and I just went all in, knowing pretty much nothing. I just went with my guts, and I lost my first $2,000 account. I just blew it all. Like, I blew my first account. It kind of made me skeptical. I wanted to stop trading. I was like, all right, this doesn't work. But I gave it another try. There was a guy that I met online, my mentor, you can say, and he was trading full time. He was successful at it, and I just doubled down. It was my New Year resolution, if you can say that. And I just quit my part-time job. I was trading full time. Like, everything I did during the day was just wake up, go to school, trade, learn, and sleep. I repeat that 5 days a week. On weekends, I was just studying, staying home pretty much all the time and just studying the market, studying strategy, backtesting, everything I could make. And for like 6 months, That's basically all I did. It was extremely hard at first, but it slowly started to pay off. And eventually after the end of my first year, I had made over 120% in my trading portfolio. So I had more than doubled my account. And remember, that was my first trading year. And this was in 2022. So if you know a bit about the market, you know that 2022 was basically a down year. Like every hedge fund, everything was down during 2022. I was pretty crazy about that. It was the first real amount of money that I was touching. Like, yes, I had made like 40 grand from dropshipping, but I was just like, I just doubled my money in a year. And I was still going to school at the time. So this was my last year of high school and my first year of college. And really, this was the only sign that I needed. Following that, I just was really happy. I knew that this was something that was made for me. And I prefer that a lot to dropshipping because I was actually in charge of things. Like dropshipping, you just basically sell bullshit to buyers, to customers. But trading, you develop a skill, a lifelong skill, and you're actually in charge of what you're doing. If you're doing something right, you'll make money. If not, you won't make money. So that's kind of where you come and play it. I also bought a lot of designer stuff. I resell some Rolexes and I went on vacations. You know the deal. Yes, I had made a good amount of money for it at my age, but it was fast gone and I blew out of it. So I just had to keep doing something, right? I just had to keep working, had to keep trading. So I switched trading platform because I had turned 18 years old, and in Canada I can open a TFSA at 18 years old, and basically you can have investment in that account and don't pay any taxes. But there is a contribution limit per year. So I basically had to split my old trading account. I put all the money I could to max out my TFSA. It was around, let's say 20% of what I had of my net worth at the time. I put around half of everything I had into a long-term investment portfolio, and the remaining, so like 25-30% or whatever, I put into Bitcoin, which I basically did not know anything about. This was after the FTX crash. I know it went down a lot, but when I bought it, it was trading at $27,000 per Bitcoin. What's funny is I remember when I bought Bitcoin, I was in school, in college with a friend of mine, and I just basically bought it right in front of him, and it was like, all right, man, you're completely crazy. What do you know about it? I was like, I don't know anything. It was really random, but I almost bought at the perfect time. Like $27,000. Now it's like $115,000 at the time I'm filming this video. I added more into it, so my average price is $36,000, but I'm up around 220% of my average position. And remember, I had put like, I don't know, 25% of my net worth into Bitcoin. And from there, you know, I just kept trading. So in 2023, I made 145% on my account. In 2024, this was my best year. So last year, I made around 222%. And in late 2024, one of my friends wanted to learn how to trade. I basically traded with him, showed him what I was doing. And I love the feeling that it gave me, like just seeing him win. He was getting happy when we were winning, when we were having good trades. And I was like, all right, yeah, just seeing the impact I could make on people's life just by telling them what I knew about trading, what I knew and what I was interested in. It just made me really happy. So in January 2025, I started to post online to share what I was doing on social media, on X or Twitter at first. And eventually I grew out all my platforms. And now here we are. So I am trading full-time. I graduated from college in 2024. I always kept a part-time job until this year, except just when I started to learn trading, but this is my first time actually living off trading. And I also moved out to Montreal to pursue business school because I believe in education. I love education. It always has been a big part of my life. So I just want to keep learning. I love this. So I'm studying finance in a top business school in Montreal. So you can easily know where I'm studying. I'm still obviously trading full time. I won't stop doing it anytime soon. This is a very long-term skill in my opinion. This is something you have to do, have to believe long-term. Trading can be really hard, especially if you look at it short-term, but if you keep going and keep it for the long-term, trust me, it will be extremely rewarding. 2025 has been the hardest market that I've ever traded. I'm currently up on my account, I think 53% this year. So a lot less than my previous years, but the year is not over. We still have 1 quarter left and I'm going to make it count. So this was my story. Some of y'all just kept asking me about it and just where I was coming from. I was just very normal at first and I just worked my ass through where I'm right now. And I believe you guys can do it as well. I'm not sure who said it first, but trading is the hardest way to make money online, and especially if you want to make fast money. So take your time, don't rush yourself. You can join my free Discord. I have free trading tools, free trading PDF that's available for everyone. and I also share my watch list and answer questions every single day. And if you're looking to speed up your process, I have a private mentorship program that's giving you access to all my tools, strategy, and all my personal trades in real time. The link will be in the description. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And as always, guys, lock in, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next one.